Yes, I decided to actually somewhat put my philosophy degree to more viewable use and talk about the transcendental realm. Basically what the transcendental realm is, it's basically things that we know exists, but we can't imagine or conceive or haven't imagined or conceived yet. So an easiest example of a transcendental realm object would be really, really big numbers. So with pi and tau, after the decimal point to the right, it's just a lot of numbers. At a certain point, there's a point at which computers or man has gone the farthest in determining pi or tau. Tau, if you don't know, is it's like pi. I think tau is 2 pi, and 2 pi is used so much that people decided to make tau or something like that. I don't know. That's a transcendental number, by the way. Or infinity. There is a point at which the largest number devised or discovered or calculated by man or machine has been calculated. That's the largest number ever conceived. Well, we know in math, it just keeps going. It's infinity. So you can always add another 0. So, yes, eventually those numbers get in the transcendental realm space, and that we know that there's a bigger number than the largest number ever conceived by a machine or a man, probably a machine, but it's never been conceived, and it can always go one further. So eventually really big numbers get into the transcendental realm because it hasn't been conceived by anything yet. But we know even bigger numbers exist, because that's how math works. On top of that, there's a number which exists in reality, which we know it exists, but we can't imagine or conceive it. Hence it exists in the transcendental realm. And that number is the accurate count of all atoms in existence. There is a number which represents all the atoms in the world, or in the universe, the entire universe. It's some imaginally large number we know exists, we have proof that it exists logically and all of that jazz, but we can't conceive or imagine it. Therefore, that number exists within the transcendental realm. And this idea of the transcendental realm doesn't only apply to mathematics, it's easier to explain it with mathematics because it's so cut and dry. I've seen it used in philosophy of law when talking about, we know that there's something which sort of justifies a state, but right now it's in the transcendental realm because we don't know it yet, or something like that. I don't want to go too much into that because I don't remember it very well. I took philosophy of law like a year or two ago. But anyway, yeah. It's a very interesting concept, the transcendental realm, and yeah, it has wide application. And this is also why I do not talk about philosophy that often on the internet. A lot of you are watching this probably going, what the hell is he talking about? And that's why I don't talk about philosophy that much, because when you actually talk about real philosophy on the internet, people get confused. And the thing that sucks is that there's this thing, I think they call it the Dunning-Kruger effect or something like that, where people who do not know anything about a subject or what's being spoken of feel like they're geniuses and they understand it all. So they try to argue against it in ways in which you can tell they have no idea what they're talking about, to the point where they say things when it comes to transcendental realm like, where is the transcendental realm? Can you prove the existence of the transcendental realm? Well, you might as well ask, what color is a thought? Can you hold a thought in your hand, and how much does a thought weigh when you're holding it in your hand? Like, no, that's a nonsensical question. You know, if someone was talking about car stuff, I wouldn't act like I know everything about cars and argue with him when he tells me that when your car leaks after driving in the hot weather and it makes like a clicking noise, it's probably the catalytic converter. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, well, like, I would actually, if I were to argue against it, I would do research first. I would try to understand the topic. I wouldn't just assume that I'm some kind of genius who knows everything about everything. Anyway, yeah, that's why I don't talk about philosophy much on the internet, because people will just get super confused and mean. Super confused and mean. So yeah, that's why I get all controversial on Facebook, but I don't ever really talk philosophy, because it just, no one ever comments. It does not work too well. So yeah, that's it. The transcendental realm. things that we know exist but we can't imagine, but maybe we'll be able to imagine. And it's usually stuff that we know exists and we know we'll never be able to imagine it. Like, there's probably something at the beginning of time. Whatever there was probably a time before the Big Bang, but we don't know crap about it. So it's in the transcendental realm right now. That's all. Bye.